You want to be able to give your kids everything that you possibly can give them for an opportunity, and that's
for
what's
them to
happening
be
right now.
successful.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's all that's happening right now. And it just so happened for LeBron still to be playing and his son get drafted by the team that he's playing for.
Who runs the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. How many Joneses work within the building and the team? How many Joneses?
They all do.
They grooming them. When you watch a Dallas Cowboys football game, they go up to Jerry's suite. You see Steve and you see everybody. Then you see the little Joneses. They already grooming them. Think about it. You see the little Joneses with the collar shirt on and the khaki pants. They're already grooming them because eventually, Father Time gonna come get you. You gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.
Ladies and gents, what's happening? All things covered. Yours truly, Patrick Peterson, Bryant McFadden. We back. We know we had a little quick, short hiatus. Pat P was traveling the world, and I was trying to do a little bit of traveling as well. But guess what? We're back on dry land. And with that being said, we're back with another episode for you guys to be entertained with, enjoy, talk about, because we're here to talk about the news, talk about what's going on. There's a lot going on, Pat P. Are you ready? You ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I am, my guy.
Yeah, it's not a lot going on with football. We're getting ready for training camp. And with that being said, Pat P, real quick, you still working out? You still ready to go, waiting for that call? What's the latest update with you in regards to your NFL career, getting ready for what, your 14th year, right? This would be your 14th year, correct?
Yeah, it will be. But yeah, just doing stuff here and there, nothing major. But if the phone call happens to come through, I'll definitely be ready to make a team if that's the case. But nothing has happened just yet. But I am doing what I need to do to be in shape if my phone does happen to ring.
Have you given yourself like a timeline, like with you personally? Is there a timeline? Because, when you look at the NFL season, it's a long season. Things happen during training camp. Things happen during preseason when the games are started in preseason play. Things happen, of course, once the regular season kicks off as well. So is there a timeline for you right now, or are you just kind of going through the motions?
I know previously I talked about, after a certain date, I will, probably not, give it any thought. But, honestly, just going through the motion, just not really giving it any real hard thought by any chance. But like I said, I'm doing what I need to do to stay in shape, to be ready if someone, does so happen to call my phone.
Yeah, well, keep it going. Keep it going. Of course, you look like you're in good shape. I know one thing, you can't forget how to backpedal. So we know that backpedal is always going to be in place. So whenever that time comes, we're going to go ahead and speak this. What'd you say, Pat P?
I never forget how to do that, man. That's too easy.
Yeah, we're going to speak that thing to existence, man. Hopefully a team calls the phone and it's a playoff caliber team, man, because what better way to end the career on a good note, competing for a championship. And I know that's all you're looking to do, and you're willing to help any organization that needs some help in trying to get that accomplished within their team. So, like I said, it's kind of been a little slow news week, getting ready for the NFL season.
So that's crazy, but I wanted to ask you as well. I know you on that side of things. Like, what do you think it is about, the corners in the safety market at this day and age, when we know it's a passing league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why you see so many high caliber guys, obviously, who played at a high level, defensive backs, still free agents right now?
This is what I've learned since being away from the game for quite some time and now covering the game as an analyst. And you talked about that. Yeah, a guy like yourself is still available. A guy like Xavier Howard is still available. There's still some high-level corners.
Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore is still available. There's still some high-level corners that's still available that still can play more than just serviceable football for a team. But what I've come to realize and understand, and this is just my assumption, Pat, just looking from the outside in, teams will wait until after week 1 to bring in a serviceable guy to improve their defense, instead of bringing them in now. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of teams that understand, and you know about this, when you get ready for training camp, you kind of got a great idea about what you have when it comes to personnel and what those guys can do, right? Because you've seen them throughout offseason, OTAs, mini camps, getting ready for training camp. You already got a great indicator on who you have in the secondary. But instead of teams bringing in a guy like yourself, like a bump and run Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore, Xavier Howard right now, you know what they'll say? We already know we need some help. But instead of bringing in these guys now that are proven vets, we'll wait until after week 1 to bring them in because their salary is not guaranteed for the entire season. Mm-hmm. As you know, when you're a vet, when you make the opening day roster, you're guaranteed, right? Regardless if you get injured, regardless if you don't live up to the billing production-wise, you're guaranteed. So that's why if you look at Pat P, I know you haven't really monitored this when you talk about the different transactions throughout the NFL season, but for our viewers that are watching us, think about the transactions that we see happen after week 1. Guys coming into the building, guys coming in and not just coming in, they're playing. Right. They got to learn the playbook, fast because they need them. Those teams already needed you, but they're going to try to cut every corner financially, as you know, to be able to get a deal that's better for them. So they might sacrifice a week 1 of, we just got to try to weather the storm. We know this guy can't really get it done, but he's younger, he's cheaper. Let's give him a shot. If he gets it done, we can hold off for the time being. If he don't, let's go make that call, bring in a guy, and just know, heck, 7 weeks down the line, if we really don't need him, we can cut ties and we're not financially tied to that said veteran player. So, Xavier Howard is younger than you. Stephon Gilmore is younger than you. All you guys still have showcased the ability to play, but they're not on a team right now, just like yourself. How is that possible? As you talked about, it's a passing league. You need more than enough corners. You can't have enough corners in today's game when you talk about injury and when you talk about, bad play from young guys, because it happens. So that's my viewpoint from where I sit as to why every year there's a quality group of guys that people are wondering, like, why they not on the team? Like, I know this team could use him or that team could use him. Why they not on the team? That's what I think it is. Because, vets, when you make the opening day roster, salary guaranteed. Yeah. So hey, man, just be ready for when that phone ring, and that's another thing too. Injuries happen. You already know training camp, injuries happen, things happen. So whenever that phone ring, man, we both gonna pray that it's a championship caliber team. And no doubt about it. Definitely get you out right off in the sunset, man, with that opportunity. But fans are waiting, people are waiting to see what happens. So great job in just giving us, where you are in regards to your career and just patiently waiting like a lot of other quality veterans are doing.
If anything don't happen after this year, or me playing another season, I will say, man, I'm one of the lucky ones to, leave the game, unscathed, not with any major injuries, able to, have all of my limbs, no hip problems and things like that, knock on wood. Still, if the good Lord blesses me to play another year. But I was just thinking of that, man, just having the ability to if it is the last ride, to walk away from the game healthy, so being able to play out in the yard with the babies and do all the fun activities that they like to do. So that's a blessing in itself.
Facts. And if it is the case, as you stated, if it's over and done, you leave the game with no regrets. You left a mark on the game of football where you will be forever be remembered when it comes to this football world based on what you did while in the National Football League, becoming a trendsetter, becoming one of the best at your position. That's what we all want to be
Right.
able to do when we get drafted. I want to be considered the best.
Right.
It don't happen.
No
You
doubt
know,
about it.
it don't happen, man. Few are chosen. And it's not just about being chosen. You guys got to go get it. You know,
Yep.
you're one of one when you talk about being able to be considered, oh, he's the head dog at this position. You know, you had that title for some time in your career, and not just in the NFL, but heck, you did the same in college football as well.
Yep.
You know, for LSU. Forever will be remembered at LSU. The same could be said for what you did in Arizona with the Cardinals, and then going to different organizations and leaving your mark, and always having that C on your chest. You know, that captain, that means something. So I hope it's not, because I want to see you go ahead and try to get that sticky Lombardi. But as you stated, you've done something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. If it is the end, walk away unscathed. Mentally, you feel good.
Yep.
Your body feel good. Your pockets feel good. You know what I mean? So what more can you ask outside of the sticky Lombardi?
Yes, sir, man. If I get me one
That's
of them,
it.
that'd be awesome.
No question. But hey, man, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait it out and ride it out and see what happens. But you heard it from the source himself, Pat P. Still ready to go. You know what I mean? No timeline on shutting it down. You know, he's just gonna go through the motions, play it by ear, and we're gonna play it by ear with him as well. So shouts out to all the fans that were wondering about Pat and what he's thinking about doing, any activity just yet. He just gave you a clear, you know, he gave you clear transparency on what's going on with him, and we're going to keep monitoring this situation as time progresses. So what we're going to do now, we're going to transition, right? We're not going to really tap too much about football right now. We're going to piggyback on football before we end our show. But what we're going to do now, we're going to transition to basketball, because we're not just football guys. You know, we're all around guys, hint the name, all things covered. We cover everything. And me and my guy, Pat P, we got a lot of similarities. Played cornerback from South Florida, a lot of different things that we like. Well, we also like the same NBA team, the Los Angeles Lakers. And the NBA draft happened last week. Shouts out to all the prospects that got drafted. Shouts out to all the prospects that will get an opportunity to fulfill a long life dream, to say the least. But one of the bigger stories in the NBA was Bronny James getting drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers. I know a lot of people have talked about this. Me and Pat P, you know, we haven't got an opportunity to connect on this story, and we want to do it right now. We love to hear you guys' comments as well in regards to Bronny getting drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers. I think the 55th pick in the second round, right? Now, Pat P, I've heard a lot from different people, you know, outsiders looking in, talking about what happened, what shouldn't have happened, why it didn't happen. Some people are saying, throwing out the word nepotism, you know, for LeBron James in regards to getting Bronny drafted, basically saying he used unfairly used his power to get his son a job. Where do you stand with this story, with the Lakers drafting Bronny James in the second round? And oh, by the way, Bronny James played in around 20 games as a freshman at USC. Averaged around 4 points per ball game. You know, showed a few flashes of great athleticism, you know, hops, but didn't really take over at USC. You know what I mean? Clearly wasn't the best player on USC's basketball team, but he got drafted. You know, it doesn't happen for a lot of players. But where do you stand, Pat P? And for our viewers as well, where do you guys stand in regards to Bronny getting drafted by the Lakers and knowing that it had a lot to do with his father?
I don't have a problem with it at all. I haven't had the opportunity to watch Bronny play. You know, in college, I think I maybe saw a couple games where that I saw. I had the opportunity to watch him play on ESPN, but for the most part, I haven't really seen the opportunity. Really haven't had the opportunity to watch him play. But you know, watching him at the combine, he looked like a decent player. You know, looked like he have great length on the defensive side of the ball, plays with great hands. It seems like I said, just looking at the combine clips. And I know they talked about him, you know, working on his spot up shooting, but I think with his size, he's probably going to be like that Russell Westbrook type of guy that comes in off the bench and kind of what I envision him being, like an energy plug type of guy, defensive first type of guy, almost like a Drew Holiday in a sense as well, to where he can kind of grow himself into an offensive player. But I think he's going to be a defensive player first. Look like he, have great foot movement. Can keep guys in front of him. And like I said, I think his range and his wingspan is what's going to really help him out a lot, because in the NBA, it's just like the NFL, is all passing, and the NBA is all shooting now. So you're going to need guys that's able to contest shots, those mid range and those deep threes for your franchise. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with the pick. I know you said a lot of people. I saw it as well. Throwing out the word nepotism. Talking about LeBron using his power. I don't think LeBron. I mean, and I could be wrong. But at the end of the day, he won't be the first one to use his power to put his family or someone who he loved in position. And at the end of the day, I feel like, if the Lakers thought he was good enough, because it was a kid also, ESPN posted this. It was a kid that got drafted maybe like 20 picks before LeBron to the Milwaukee Bucks. And he averaged like 2 points. I cannot remember the kid's name, but his point average was
in the second round by the Bucks.
Yeah, look that up. But anyway, I just saw the clip that he averaged like 2.9 or something like that. I feel like the Lakers did their due diligence. Had an opportunity. I know it wasn't much that they had an opportunity to watch in the in college, but I thought he had a decent enough combine to give teams the hope and the belief that he can become something, or he can be a prospect that they can work with. And I feel like LeBron is probably, he's the closest with them, so they probably have some insight, the closest insight that they can ever have. But I don't feel like, because LeBron want to win at the end of the day. I know he wants to win, and I feel like he wouldn't. If he did, he wouldn't put his name on the table for nothing. I know he believed in this kid, he believed in himself, and I don't have a problem with it at all.
I don't have a problem with it either. I think for a lot of people that have a problem with what happened, they're mad they don't have the power to do that for their kid. That's how I feel. Honestly, because in what world, as a parent, especially as a father, if you're in position to help your son, first and foremost, if your son is okay in being under you to some degree, right? If he is okay with saying, Dad, if you can help me get drafted to your team, I'm okay in being under you. I understand I'm an adult. I'm in the professional world, but I'm still in your viewpoint 9 times out of 10 when you talk about the NBA schedule. If the son is okay with it, okay, cool. That's what you do as a father. And for all the people that have an issue with this, let's go ahead and look at it from a different set of lenses, right? Let's say you own a landscaping company. You're the owner. Your son or daughter is in college. She's getting ready to leave college. He is getting ready to leave college. They don't know exactly what they're going to do. They don't have a lot of options out there. Even if they're not really familiar with the landscaping business like you are, they know of it because it's been in their family their entire lives. They don't have any other options. You have the power to say, you know what? I'm going to bring you into our business. I'm going to start you up, give you an opportunity to learn the ropes, and it's up to you where you go within the company. But I'm going to give you an opportunity.
Right.
I'm going to give you an opportunity, even though there's other people that are willing, ready to rock and roll. You're my blood. You're my children. I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you screw this up, it's on you.
Right.
Right? But you're going to have to work. How many of y'all that are watching us would say, I'm not doing that for my seed, for my daughter or my son?
Everybody do it. That's the same way. Like if you need a favor for your kid, to get until college or to get in a certain program, you're gonna call in favors because that's what you want to be able to give your kids everything that you possibly can give them for an opportunity, and that's
for
what's
them
happening
to be successful.
Exactly, and that's all that's happening right now, and it just so happened for LeBron still to be playing and his son get drafted by the team that he's playing for. I mean, what other athlete wouldn't fathom playing with their son?
I mean, we've never seen it done before. This is the first time in any sport that clearly basketball, we know we've never seen it done before in football, but this is the first time. Like when you talk about, and we're not talking about LeBron just being a player. He's still one of the best players on the Lakers team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's still like a guy, a key contributor for their team. So for a lot of people that's saying that it's not right, man, okay, who runs the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. How many Joneses work within the building and the team? How many Joneses?
They all do.
They grooming them. When you watch a Dallas Cowboys football game, they go up to Jerry's suite. You see Steven, you see everybody. Then you see the little Joneses. They already grooming them. Think about it. You see the little Joneses with the collar shirt on and the khaki pants. They're already grooming them because eventually, you know, Father Time gonna come get you. You got to go somewhere. And so guess what? When we go, we want to make sure it's in the family.
Yeah.
And for the Joneses that play football, I think one of Jerry's grandson or something like that was playing ball somewhere. You know what school he gonna go to? Arkansas. Like so. Yeah, I understand if you're not a LeBron fan, that's one thing, but don't criticize this man. And we don't know exactly how much he helped Bronny get drafted to the Lakers. We don't know how much, but we do believe it helped some because LeBron stated some years ago his ultimate dream, he wanted to play with his son.
Yep.
He wanted to play with his son. Bronny goes to USC, left after not really giving a lot. It almost like it made sense. That's what they were trying to do. And if that's the case, I can care less.
Man, you know what it is? Like LeBron and his agency, they have everything mapped out 3 years in advance. They already knew this was going to happen. He already knew that he was going to have the Lakers within he's signing back for sure. But say for instance, his son did not get drafted by the Lakers. I can almost guarantee he was probably going to go to whatever team that his son got drafted by.
Yeah, that would have been an option. But the way how they played it, Pat P, I mean, Rich Paul said we ain't doing no workouts for nobody.
Said, his agency and the planning is unbelievable. And unbelievable. And it's worked out just how they planned it year in and year out. You know, so shout out to Clutch Sports and Rich Paul.
Clutch Sports. And then if you think about Clutch Sports, that entire agency is because of LeBron.
Exactly.
Like Rich Paul is who he is because of LeBron. Maverick Carter is who he is because of LeBron. That's what great people do. Like everyone is not going to be able to be in a position where they're dominant in their profession, where they get so many resources at their disposal. Some people get resources, they keep them within themselves. A guy like LeBron was like, you know what? I see y'all really, really rock with me. I see that y'all have the type of head on your shoulder. If I put you in position to do something, you're going to excel. You're not going to be, you won't be a liability. You're not going to do the wrong thing. So I'm going to put you in certain positions for you to work, but I trust that you're going to do right. And look at the enterprise they build. You know what I mean? Working together. And the trust factor they have as well, because, you know, when you talk about doing business with family or friends, there's always that trust question mark. Like, can I really trust them to do X, Y, and Z? LeBron trusts them, and they've proved LeBron right. And look at the masterful organization they've been able to build in doing so. So shouts out to man. LeBron has. I mean, I think Michael Jordan is the best NBA basketball player ever. He is my GOAT. But in regards to providing opportunities, LeBron is the GOAT. Like, coming from where he came from, being the chosen one out of high school, everything that he did, and the people that he put on to be successful. And they're still together, close-knit. You know what I mean? Not just the agency, Pat P, but look at the media production. The things he's involved in media-wise.
What they got going on,
Man, the pizza, Blaze pizzas and all that. Man, his homeboys, man, listen, man, LeBron did it the right way. His homeboys did it the right way because they didn't abuse the opportunity. They made it right and made it better. And because of that, they got a Amtrak train that ain't slowing down no time on the tracks.
Added value, man.
Added value. And then for also, too, people mad at LeBron. Why y'all ain't mad at Giannis? His brother been on the Milwaukee Bucks roster for I don't know how many years. And he the biggest cheerleader they got. And he ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he bigger than Bronny. Bronny's 6'1". Giannis' brother, 6'6", 6'7", can't get on the floor.
Yeah. Man,
but he holding the spot.
Man, yeah, you know how it is. People gonna talk about, I guess their feelings and not really understanding the scope of things. Like you said, put yourself in that person's shoes. Like, you wouldn't want nothing but the best for your kids. And if you are in position to do such a thing, you're gonna do everything in your power to make it happen.
That's what a parent does, bro. Mom or dad. And then you tell your kid, all right, it's up to you. It's on you. I gave you the lay of the land. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna work with you, but it's up to you. You gotta do the extra, my boy.
Mm-hmm.
So shots out, man. Shots out to LeBron James. I don't know how many years he want to play, but shoot, Bryce James ain't too far behind either.
You see what Bryce got? 2 more years?
Yeah, he really can go. He really can go. So we'll see what happens. And keeping it within the Lakers side of things, Pat B, free agency has started, and LeBron came out, I think, over the weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he came out over the weekend and said he would be willing to take a pay cut if the Lakers can bring in a big name. I don't know what's going on with the Lakers. They had a pretty good draft. I love the first rounder from Tennessee. Of course, Bronny in the second round. But it's time for Rob Pelinka to start doing something, man. If you don't know, here it is. The Lakers, LeBron was basically publicly trying to recruit Klay Thompson. Half of the Splash Brothers that's no longer together. Klay Thompson was not a free agent, but of course he was on his way out from Golden State. LeBron was recruiting him. Klay Thompson's father, Michael Thompson, played for the Lakers. I think he currently works for the Lakers as well when it comes to radio or something like that. So clearly Klay Thompson grew up with Laker Nation within him. Klay Thompson says no. He goes to Dallas, signed a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Mavericks. I think the third year is a player option. He says no. Another player that I think LeBron would have been okay in playing with, James Harden. James Harden stays with the Clippers. Of course, you talk about LeBron's close friend, Chris Paul, who also was with the Golden State Warriors, was basically on the way out. LeBron wouldn't have mind playing with Chris Paul, CP3. CP3 said, I'm going to San Antonio. 1-year deal, $11 million to play with Wemby. Right. So when you look at the options for the Lakers and knowing that LeBron was willing to take less if you can bring in another big name player, they're running out of options. And it seems like the Lakers missed out on Hurley to be the head coach. They kind of settled because if you don't get your first option, I can care less what you're saying. You're settling for anything else.
Yeah. They
settled for J.J. Redick. You got J.J. Redick. Okay, cool. You made it known that you were trying to go get a splash player that was available, preferably Klay Thompson. He says no, even though my dad played for you guys, won championships, I'm going elsewhere. Lakers can't get nobody. And I think me personally, Pat P, when you talk about missing on free agents, when it comes to any sport, basketball, baseball, of course, our sport, football, it's about the GM.
Yeah.
And if you look at Rob Pelinka, he's done some okay things, but it's been a lot of opportunities that he's missed. And this will be the second year in a row where you don't bring in any type of impactful name to improve your chances in the most difficult conference in the NBA, which is the Western Conference.
Yeah. I did see there was a report, I don't know how true it is, that they offered Klay 4 for $80. But I think it's probably those taxes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We can I can hear that. But then Pat P, when I look at other teams that are in the West, they get in players.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't, okay, you're right. Klay left California to go to Dallas. Okay, to Texas. But the Clippers are still, they just brought back Harden. They lost PG. You look at what what Sacramento is doing. Huh?
I said I'm happy we didn't get Harden.
Yeah, I understand. Me too. But at some point, you got to get.
I feel like, yeah, you're right. We got to get somebody, but
I didn't really want CP3 either. Me personally, not this CP3.
Yeah,
we should have got CP3 a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
But if CP3 is telling you no, turning you down.
Yeah, something ain't right. Yeah,
and he went to a team
ahead.
Still trying to figure things out in San Antonio.
But you still got Coach Pop there. That could have played a factor.
Well,
and you do got Wemby. Hey, that boy Wemby gonna be a monster. And now he gonna be with Lob City Paul. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be must see TV.
yeah, you're right. That's for CP3. That's a great situation. But it's like if Hurley tells you no, wanted to go back to UConn, like what's going on with management? Because I remember once upon a time, LA was a destination that didn't have to beg. I'm not saying they're begging people now.
Yeah,
you not leaving. And those taxes was always the same. They ain't never was like a no state tax spot. It's always been the same. Like once upon a time, you had, Pat in the building, of course, Phil, when you had Jerry West making things happen from the front office side of things, we wasn't missing. It was almost like you had to tell people now we're okay. Now we can't buy a bucket.
You can't buy.
And everybody in the West is getting better. OKC, they getting better.
Yep. Dallas
the Pelicans, they just got Murray from Atlanta. They getting better.
Yeah.
And if LeBron is not taking a pay cut, and I agree with LeBron, if I'm gonna take a pay cut, Pat P, they got to be because we're bringing in a guy who I respect, who I believe can help us get close to a championship.
Right.
If we ain't doing that, LeBron probably gonna take his max deal, and we ain't gonna be able to get nobody. So we're basically running the same roster back in a conference, as I stated. You're gonna need more.
That we always limping into.
Man. Hey, our season once again gonna be the in-season tournament.
Yep.
That's gonna be the main attraction, the in-season tournament, because we ain't got enough soldiers to fight in that war out west with the rest of them teams. And because everybody getting better. Paul George went to Philly.
Yeah.
Great move. Mikal Bridges got traded to New York, a place with unbelievable taxes. New York getting people. They brought back OG. I mean, Nuggets ain't going nowhere. Mm-mm. Dallas, that move that Dallas got adding Klay Thompson with what they already got in place.
Yeah,
man,
that was huge.
Yeah, so for Laker Nation, man, I'm a bit confused, and screw all that talking about being patient, man. We done been patient. Like I said, man, this will be JJ Redick. Hugo, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if you can stat check this real quick or not. JJ Redick would be Rob Pelinka's 4th or 5th coach? Like, usually Pat P.
You got D'Antoni. So you got D'Antoni, you got Ham, you got JJ now.
The coach won the bubble championship.
Indiana, I can't. Vic.
What's his name? That just was with Phoenix.
Yeah, I can't think of him right now. He is with Phoenix right now, but him.
I think Rob Pelinka probably have seen 4 coaches leave the building.
Yeah, that's 4.
That he was a part of hiring, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think he had Mike Brown too.
No, don't tell me he had Mike Brown.
Yeah, he had Mike Brown.
Man, how many coaches?
That's 5.
And so that's another weird thing that I'm confused about, Pat. The GM is usually tied to the head coach.
Exactly.
Right?
He ain't tied to none of them.
Like, he bring them in the building, but it's almost like they all putting all the blame on the coach. But what the freak the GM doing?
Yeah.
Because think about this, Pat P, and we're going to transition real quick. But Rob Pelinka basically, you can say whatever you want to say about Anthony Davis being having a say-so or LeBron having a say-so. Rob Pelinka, Russell Westbrook coming to L.A.
Yeah.
Trading away what we traded away for to get Russell, who clearly wasn't the same player, brought him to L.A., and it didn't work out. For whatever reason, it didn't work out.
Nope.
At that time, you didn't really need to have to make that move because we was 2 years or a year or so removed from the bubble championship with a nice athletic group of guys that could defend on the perimeter. You know, streaky guys. You had KCP.
All of you drafted too. All your drafted.
Kuzma. Yeah, Kuzma. Man, so you let Caruso go.
Exactly.
So, like, that was part of the downfall when you talk about the turnover on the roster, that Rob Pelinka is pretty much dodging those bullets. No one is really talking about it. Since then, we can't get out our own way. And then you win a championship with the bubble. You fire your coach.
Right.
You basically you changed the whole roster after the bubble championship. That didn't make any sense. You know, you had JaVale McGee, you had Dwight Howard. You let both of those guys go. And then you fire him, you bring in somebody else, you fire them, you bring in Darvin Ham. In 2 years, all he did was make the playoffs and made the Western Conference Final, and you fire him then also. So we're going to see, man. We're going to see, man. But I don't know. He been dodging those bullets about criticism. Everybody else getting it. Rob Pelinka must got something on the organization because he's still there. So many coaches have come and gone under his watch, but he is still there.
Yeah, it look like he gonna always be there.
Facts. Facts. So JJ Redick is the fourth coach. Appreciate that, Hugo. Under Rob Pelinka. I don't understand how, that's not good. That's not good structure within an organization like the Lakers. Huh?
So he only been a GM for 8 years? Because ain't nobody been there more than 2 years apiece.
I don't think so. Yeah.
What? That's even worse. So he fired out.
We just did that. We just did that. We did it at the same time. He was the GM in 2020, and this is about to be his fourth coach.
Wow.
Are you sure, Hugo? What? How nobody's talking about that? That's Pat P. We were thinking he been there, not knowing right the exact time, but at least 2018 or something.
You talk about nepotism.
You just said something.
You talk about nepotism, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? And this is his fourth coach? So they basically had a new coach every year.
Yeah, we ain't gotta talk. People stop using that word towards LeBron James, please, because he don't fit in that category or that definition. We just gave you an example of what it really is. So wow.
That's an unbelievable stat. I did not know that.
Every year, he got rid of a coach every single year.
So Frank Vogel, yep, Darvin Ham, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Frank Vogel, Darvin
Ham. Vogel, so Darvin Ham.
Because Ham was there 2 years and Vogel was there 2 years too, though.
So who was before? Was it Mike Brown? No. Mike Brown was there when he first got there?
No, Mike Brown was there like 18, I think.
Luke Walton?
That's who it was. I forgot about Luke. And Luke was there 2 years too. So yeah, he gave each coach 2 years.
Basically.
Yeah.
And one coach won a championship. Yeah, the other coach made it to the finals, Western Conference Finals in his first year.
See you.
And got him up out of there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shouts out to Rob Pelinka for having great job security. I don't know how you get that, but we all want to have that type of job security.
Yeah. Man.
Well, hey, but one thing I want to hit you with, Pat P. Did you hear about Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum. No. What happened?
You ain't hear his new contract?
No.
Ooh, 5 year extension. Well, 5 year, whatever, 5 year deal.
Hey, I know it's gonna be more than Browns. I know that much.
15 million.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah. Largest in the NBA history. They got 2 players on that team getting $300 million.
That's what I'm saying. I said I know it's larger than Browns.
Yep. And they just signed your boy to a $124 million deal too. Where they getting all this money from Boston? In Boston, they paying Kristaps, Holiday.
Bro, man.
What type of payroll they got? They playing Kristaps.
602 players.
They got 602 players. They just gave
Holiday something for a year for 100 and something.
Yeah, he was getting what he was getting from Milwaukee. What's my man that plays good defense? I forgot his name. They cut all his hair off. He had the bad hairline.
White?
It was White? Yeah, White. Yeah, they just gave him a deal today too.
White came from the Spurs a long time ago. That's what he started with.
Yeah, the athletic guy.
Light skin?
Light skin, yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name, Hugo?
Derek White.
Yeah, Pat, they just gave him 124 today also.
Yeah. He deserved it too, because he balled out the whole playoff series, especially in that Miami series. He was the guy.
So I'm confused. What kind of cap? What kind of salary cap they got?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because we talking about the Lakers ain't got no money. You got two players getting north of 300.
We ain't paying nobody.
White just got 124. Al Horford got to be getting north of $25 million a year.
Yeah.
Same could be said for Holiday. Kristaps the same. Yeah, he got to be getting north of 20-something million too. What type of? I don't understand.
Porzingis. Don't they got Porzingis there too?
Yeah, he got to be getting about 25, 26 a year. Well, yeah. I don't know, but shots out to Jason Tatum.
They got to figure it out.
And Jason Tatum just finished. He was in the midst of a $200-something million deal, so and he gonna get another one at that basketball.
That stutter.
He getting like 68, 69 a year, something like that, Pat P.
Yeah, bless his heart.
I saw a crazy stat. Jason Tatum's per year salary is more than the entire Oakland Athletics team.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Their payroll is like 69. That's what he's getting, around 69 million per year.
Man, bless his heart, man. Them boys him and Jaylen Brown can start that Black Wall Street that he talked about when Jaylen got his contract. So they definitely can start that Black Wall Street. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, he think a little different than everybody else. He was in a different classroom than everybody else, man. You talk about intelligent. Yeah, he think a little different. He might talk a little different too. I wonder if they play Boo-Ray. Imagine what them Boo-Ray games look like.
Don't want to see it.
Now that'll make your hands sweat, Pat. That hard start for them pots with them boys. You got to have some type of guts or be a pure drunk to get on the boo table.
And I'm not even a big gambler like that. Like I just like to do it to have fun. But
yeah, but they fun different. Like they fun is like, we might start off with 20 a hand or something like that, 40 or 50. Them boy might
they coming out 100, 200.
100. Man, that boy might come out of the G-ball, out the gate.
Man, I remember I used to play with PJ Tucker. They start off with 100 cat.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You got to make sure you know what you're doing, boy.
Yeah.
Because you won't get out there in the wrong pot. That hand go to shaking like a stripper, boy. You might get a little nervous, boy.
I mean, and like I said, we can all do it. It's just like what's the point of that though? Like I'm not trying to be playing for no 20,000.
No.
That
that's gonna mess with that. Because them boys can take that and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, if I get hit with that, man, I don't know. I feel like I need to want to fight, man. I don't want to just lose that, man. We just gotta fight, man. I'm sorry. No, man, you're not gonna tell me how I got booed for all that, and I can't even go get it back. You want me to, man? No, man, we just gotta fight it out, man. Just beat me up 2 and take.
Like you said, you gotta know what the hell you doing and know your temper. Because if you ain't willing to lose what's out there, don't get your ass in the game.
Don't get in the game. And don't get caught with that. You got there, man, you got Jack 5 in your hand, think you might stay in there, and there's 4 people in, you take 3 and you don't pull nothing. Dang, I'm booed, boy. Well, you might try to contemplate and trying to renege.
The worst thing about that too, especially when you like the 4th or like the 3rd leader, and you was like, and you seeing all these spades go before you, oh my God. I'm booed. You just saying it in your head.
I'm booed.
I have no chance.
You just trying to hope you can get in through the back door, but you like, boy, I'm booed for all this money, boy, and I ain't gonna be able to fight the next hand.
I'm telling you, man. The only
Yeah,
way
them
that's
basketball boys, man. Shots out them boys. They different.
that's out.
Hey, Pat, before I let you go, one thing I want to talk about, I think this is a story that's very, very close to you. All right. The Dallas Cowboys news came out last week. Malik Hooker, safety for the Dallas Cowboys, he was on Keyshawn Johnson's podcast. Shouts out to Keyshawn. All Facts, No Breaks podcast. Make sure you guys give him a check out, man. It's real good podcast. So Keyshawn was asking about Michael Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
And asking Malik Hooker about Michael Parsons in the podcast that he does weekly during the season. And, he was asking him about what he thought about it and everything like that. And long story short, this is basically, what Malik Hooker had to say in regards to Parsons in the podcast. I'm going to paraphrase it just a little bit, but he said, the run game is terrible, but you're doing a podcast every week. He also said that based on him just devoting time to the podcast, there's some other things he should be devoting time to. So that was kind of confusing because I'm like, wow, these are two guys that play with each other. They know each other to some degree. Might not be a personal relationship, but heck, you got a working relationship. And word for word, this is what he said. He said, run game terrible, but you're doing a podcast every week. Are you caring about the crowd that's watching your podcast or caring about the success of our team in the Super Bowl we're trying to reach? So I want to get your thoughts because, you've been doing a podcast with me for quite some time while being active in the National Football League in the locker room on the defense.
Right.
For me, this tells me a lot about the locker room for the Dallas Cowboys and the lack of connection, the lack of gelling, the lack of togetherness. This is what this tells me. And this also tells me that for Michael Parsons to be, from what we see, he is one of their best players on their team. He's in the top 2.
Yep.
Right? And I think he probably is 1.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Depending on who you're asking. 1 or 2.
Yep.
But it seems that there might be a lack of leadership in regards to how his peers, not going to say all, but in this case, how Malik looks at him in regards to who he is within their organization. That's how I see it. And the reason why I see that is because I talked about the lack of togetherness. When you're together, if I got an issue with my guy, Pat P, we're on the same team, and it's not necessarily an issue, but something I might want to address. Pat, let me holler at you real quick, my boy. Hey, man, like when you're doing your podcast, bro, I ain't gonna never knock someone for doing something outside of what they do in between the lines. But we struggling. Kind of keep that in mind when you're giving public information about what we're doing weekly. Mm-hmm. We rock together. We all know what our problem is. Defensively, we all know what we need to do to make it better. So let's try to think about that when you're doing your podcast. Respectfully. Right? So therefore, you don't have to go out and give us in the public something to talk about. Oh, by the way, you play for the Dallas Cowboys where everything you do is being watched anyway.
Everything.
Everything you do is being watched. And then you call out Parsons. It's almost like, yeah, we know he a baller, but I really don't respect old boy like that because he be on some BS. So I'm going to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it because I think that locker room is not together. And this is a telling sign. And oh, by the way, Pat P, this ain't the first time we heard some kind of like not necessarily foolishness, but things that kind of raise your eyebrow from the locker room. Remember, it was somebody's brother that said something about Dak Prescott during the season. It was somebody on the team. It was a family member on social media talking about Dak Prescott. It was another family member offensively talking about Dak Prescott. Hugo, I know you know what I'm talking about because our producer Hugo is a big time Cowboy fan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's who it was. It was somebody else too, but I remember that vividly. So that tells me this locker room is not together. Pat P, like I said, you do a podcast. What are your thoughts hearing this?
Oh man, like you stated, Michael Parsons is by far the best player on their football team, and he produced each and every week. And if you look at the way the world is now, who don't have a podcast? And I don't ever end up, watching Micah's podcast or anything, but from seeing the clips, it seems like he's pretty good. So he's taking advantage of his opportunity to be in front of the mic, tell stories, talk about the game, what fans and people want to hear about. And Malik Hooker, I'm sorry you don't have the same gift that I have. Everybody don't have that gift. So I'm taking advantage of that. It's not like I'm going on my podcast saying, oh, man, my teammates suck, or this person got to be better. That person got to be better. No, I'm talking about things that's hot topics around the football world or that I want to talk about. This is my platform. So, like you said, if there was a problem, if you did have a problem with the best player on this defense still producing week in and week out, if you had a problem with it, and I saw Parsons said that they're locker mates as well.
Yeah. Parsons gave a statement, Pat P. I got the statement for you. Parsons said, and I think he deleted this post. It was on X. Just wish you said this to me, but instead on some podcasts. Why ain't we talking about everyone preparations and focus leading up to the game week? I mean, I can point out a lot of other things, but I'm just not. So basically he's saying you could have talked to me, but you going on the podcast talking about me when you could have said this to me. So I know, as you stated, I get where Michael Parsons is coming from. And oh, by the way, Pat P, Malik Hooker wasn't done. Keyshawn Johnson asked him, he wasn't done. But he was Cat Williams. He was like Cat Williams on Shay Shay. He was letting it out. Yeah. So Keyshawn asked him in the pecking order with the guys that are trying to get paid, who should get paid first, second, third, or whatever, right? Because of course, Dak Prescott trying to get paid, CeeDee Lamb trying to get paid, Michael Parsons, and Zach Martin. So Keyshawn didn't ask him. This wasn't a specific question about Parsons. It was just like, who do you think should get paid first? A lot of guys trying to get paid. Malik Hooker said, well, he thought about it. He's like, well, it's a lot of guys, but I'll say this, Micah should be fourth. Yeah. He said Micah should be fourth. And the reason why is, don't get me wrong, he was like, he is a great player, but we need to see it. We need to see more. He just don't understand. He hasn't even scratched the surface of the type of player he can be. So I think he should be fourth. And the other guys, he said, CD, what you got, Hugo? Yeah, Micah has 2 years left on his deal, so he's going into his 4th-year deal. They still have his 5th-year option. And Malik basically said he should be fourth in the pecking order of who should get paid when for the Cowboys. Now, how do you feel about that? Because I stated Malik Hooker wasn't done. He still had some Cat Williams left in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see him being wrong with that, because obviously you need a quarterback. If they want a quarterback, they're going to have to get Dak done first. And then it's going to be, Zach Martin. That's another, he's probably going to be up next year. And then it's going to be up to CD, and if they have money left over for CD and Micah. Because I don't see Micah getting a deal done this year.
Because he got 2 years. I agree with you. And you're right, Pat. I don't think Malik Hooker was wrong for what he said, but I think he was wrong for kind of singling out Parsons again.
Yeah.
Because Keyshawn didn't ask you a question about Parsons and should he get paid before the other guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you were like, I think Parsons should be fourth. He said, who do you think should get paid? Okay, just give two. I think it's between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? I think both guys are worthy of getting paid. Dak plays the quarterback position. That's very, very important. CeeDee Lamb is having an all-around great years for us the last few years. He's ended up his rookie deal. Either one of those guys should get paid. Bam!
That's it.
It's almost like now you keep coming at Parsons. You talked about Parsons in the podcast and what he doing and what he ain't doing. And now you're saying, man, he should be last.
You're right. Yeah. But like you also stated, man, it just seemed like there's no leadership in the locker room. And
none.
When you look at their roster, where would the leadership come from?
For me, I would say DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh,
I think he is the longest tenured guy on that defense. And I'm not saying that DeMarcus isn't a leader for their team. I don't know what goes on, But if you had to if I had to think of a guy who should be the leader, it should be him.
Right.
You know, he's been through the thick and thin.
He's been the guy that, that had the C on his chest each and every year that I can remember.
Yeah, and deserving so. But it's something going on right now where it seems like they got a lot of dysfunction a little bit right now, which is not good because it's the off season. And this can carry on. If they don't sweep this out of the locker room right now, this will carry on throughout the entire season. And we saw this spiral last year during the season with Hugo giving us the inside, the actual information of what CeeDee Lamb talking about Dak Prescott on social media and things like that. Come on, now we're not doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Another topic will come up next week. It'll be something else next week.
Yeah, no question. And we'll be here to talk about it. And that's why the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cowboy fans, but that's an issue for you guys. You're not together. You're not a group that's together. Because me and Pat P been in locker rooms. We've been in close-knit locker rooms. I've been in close-knit locker rooms for the majority of my career. We won't handle business like that. Yeah. Keep the main thing the main thing. Like Mike Tomlin used to tell us all the time, don't listen to the elevator music that's outside the building. Yeah. No. We don't move to those tunes.
And and I'm not there, just going off what I see on Instagram. Talking about, Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy relationship. So that's the head of leadership right there. And we all see him on TV each and every week, how he's doing things, rightfully so. That's how he want to run his business. But we're talking about leadership. And if your leaders in your locker room see that, how they going to be good leaders? Not saying Jerry's not a good leader. I don't want to be misquoted. What I'm saying is how some leaders don't allow, their helpers or the people that's around them flourish and do the best that they can do versus being so overbearing, over their shoulder, wanting to do everything when you're far removed from what you're trying to have these guys succeed. So it starts with
and it seems like those two guys are not gelling, Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. You know what I mean? So it starts from the top and it just kind of trickles throughout the entire body of the organization. And that's what the Cowboys are dealing with. And thank you for the Cowboys for giving us some good off-season information, because it's been an entertaining off-season just monitoring the Cowboys, because they're going to give us something to talk about.
You hear some of the players as well, talk about, just going off what I see on Instagram. Just some players just talking about how they feel, the tension, between the head coach and the owner sometimes, and how they feel like, I mean, obviously it's his team, but how, he gets all the interviews and stuff after ball games, stuff like that. So, I mean, guys see that, and I won't say that rub off on people. You have to be, built a different way, but that's just this day and age. These kids are not, they're not used to seeing some of those things like that. So it's just different. It's just different. It's just always something about that organization. They always gonna find a way to be in that spotlight, man.
Facts. Well, hey. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hit us up in our YouTube comment section as well. Let us know how you feel. We talked a lot about different things going on throughout the world of sports. Let us know how you feel. If you agree with us, if you disagree, if you love for us to hear your insight in what you think is going on or is not going on, let us know. We like to read them as well. We like to include our fans into what we're doing weekly here on our show. You have it. All Things Covered is the name. Entertaining is the name of the game. Bryant McFadden, Patrick Peterson. Until next time, see you when we see you. Peace.
Yeah, money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.